Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another edition of Gaffing the Truth. And the music you heard at the beginning of the show is by our great friend Mexigun. Thank you, Mexigun, once again. So my name is Jeff with a G, and as always is my good friend Scabs the Clown, who is doing well as well.
I'm
How's it going,
okay. I'm
Scabs?
doing all right. It's going all right.
Yeah?
I'm tired, I'm sore, but it's all good. It's worth it.
At least that's what we keep telling ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I've just been kicking my ass at the haunted house, so I'm good. I feel good about my soreness.
Well, that's good that you're able to get out and do stuff. Unlike me, I'm working, but it's not quite the same
Yeah.
as being on stage and being around people again. And it's like, and for me, it's like
Well, no, I'm not really around people. I avoid people. I avoid all the people. I just I stay on stage or in the back room mostly.
I can feel that. Yeah, the haunting season is kicking my ass right now too, as I work for a costume shop, and so everybody's coming in for costuming because people don't understand about staying home
Yeah,
and not being involved with stuff, and so they come in and shop. And there's tourists. I deal with tourists. 2 days ago, Alex Jones drove by 3 times in his little tank thing, yelling about something or other.
Wow.
Legit. Yeah, no, that's legit. I mean, and then shortly thereafter, some girl in a bikini was riding on a horse, just flipping everybody off as she rode down the street.
Right.
That's Austin.
People are getting bored. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Austin. But it's a lot of fun. But we could be talking to ourselves about just catching up, stuff like that. But we're here actually for a specific thing, a specific only thing. What we do is called Gaffing the Truth, where we're taking the weird shit that, where there's conspiracies, theories, mysteries, cryptids, whatever, and we're just trying to figure out what's real and what's true. Or we're just unable to, or needs more data. And so we always have fun stuff we always talk about.
Yeah.
And this is the one I wanted to talk about with our show today, because I always found it fascinating. And which was all these weird kind of rumors and mysteries and conspiracies around a lot of famous rock star deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me while I quench myself.
Yeah, no, this is I like music. I'm really into weird music stuff. I don't know probably as much as you do. I looked up a lot of cool stuff today, but yeah, it was always one of those weird things. I knew some people who were super into and even still to this day, like Kurt Cobain.
Oh yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that later, because he pops up.
I'm sure we will.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the 27 Club and all the people in there, and of course, Kurt Cobain's in that list. So, on why and how he died, that's an interesting story, or what could be. But I want to start simple. So I want to talk about one of my personal favorite mystery conspiracy thing that's long since been debunked, but it still kind of pops up every once in a while because people don't like believing it or whatever, is the whole theory about Paul is dead, which is Paul McCartney from the Beatles is not really alive. It's really an imposter who's been playing him since 1966. So yeah,
he was the one shot outside the hotel, yeah, or was that somebody else?
That was Lennon.
Yeah, Lennon.
Yeah, Gabe Lennon. That's exactly who it is.
You're right.
It was
yeah.
It was the leader of the Russian army. Yeah, the leader of the Russians got shot outside a hotel in New York in 1980. That's exactly what happened. No, actually, as the story goes, is that while they're in the while they're recording the Abbey Road record, supposedly, Paul got into a big tiff with the rest of the band and stormed out of the recording session and went driving off angry, and he got in a really nasty car wreck on really, really nasty car wreck. And so supposedly died. And then, as this is the height of Beatlemania, and then rather than people going nuts and being bad and being nasty, they hired a man who had just recently won a Paul McCartney look-alike contest winner by the name of William Shears Campbell to take his place. And that's who it's been ever since. And supposedly, all their songs and everything written post Abbey Road, or the imagery, is all reflective that Paul is dead, ranging anywhere from, because Beatles were popularizing things like backmasking and stuff like that, putting hidden images, supposedly at the end of in backmasking the Glass Onion song, which is in the White Album. John says Paul is dead at the very, very end. And like the Walrus is Paul from the Magical Mystery Tour, because Walrus dies in the songs. Even the album work for Abbey Road, which has the four guys walking across the street, Paul is the only one not wearing shoes.
Yeah.
During the Sgt. Pepper's album, he's the only one not facing the camera. All this sort of stuff, and just all this sort of things like that happen. That it's not really Paul. Paul died. Well, the reason why Paul didn't talk up when all this stuff happens, because he just had a kid, and so he was keeping low, taking care of his kid. So when all this stuff originally went by, the longer Paul wasn't talking, the more like credence. And so whenever he started talking again, they go, well, obviously they had to train this guy how to sound like Paul. And it took a while. And no, he just had a kid. And so his wife Linda, and their two daughters, one of them being a new daughter, went off to the mountains of like Switzerland or something, and just like spent like 6-8 months just being a family. But yeah, I don't know. It's like me. I always like that story because it's like really weird, because people like they really stretch it out, because there's people who like will sit, like there's people even kind of today who will sit through those records, because like the Beatles in their later years got really in depth about layering a bunch of shit into their sound. They're one of the first bands to really do that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's just kind of a weird story. I
don't like the
always
Beatles.
really dug it. Pardon me?
I don't like the Beatles.
That's fair. I mean, you don't have to like the Beatles to recognize that they did have an impact in like modern music.
They had an impact, but I mean,
it's not your gig. I get it. I mean,
there's people who get mad at me for saying that. It's like, I don't like them. I like the Beach Boys.
That's fair. You like the Beach Boys. See, which were weird contemporaries.
Yeah, and that has nothing to do with the whole Charles Manson connection or anything. As I wave a knife around, sorry.
But it doesn't hurt. No, it's it's perfectly fine. There's always been the dynamics of the Elvis, or it's like are you Elvis man or a Beatles man, or you're Beatles Stones or Beatles Beach Boys. There's a lesser known one that one happens as well. I dig them all. I'm a big fan of all of it, and just like I'm like Elvis for style, but I like the Beatles music. I like the Stones music. I like all.
I'll listen to Elvis. Yeah, I'll listen to Elvis more than I'll listen to the Beatles.
That's fair.
But I also am not a huge fan of Elvis.
It's fair. No, it's fine. We're going to talk about Elvis too today, so because he's got another big thing going on too. So after this, so in your scouring of this sort of stuff, did you find anything weird and interesting on your end?
I found a couple. I mean, I didn't write like too much down about them. There wasn't really much to find about them, honestly. But Sam Cooke, gospel singer.
Sam Cooke, yeah.
They said, they said he was a break and enter into his hotel room, and they robbed him and shot him to death. And, the person who found him was Etta James. Yeah, she walked into his hotel room. she didn't say anything about getting shot. She saw his face and everything. She said it looked like he had been beaten to death, and the hotel wasn't ransacked.
Okay, so we're thinking that it wasn't.
Yeah. It was
Same.
either there was he owed money to the mob or something like that. Like, but none of that's like anything. It's just like that's what you assume when somebody famous dies mysteriously. Oh, it was the mob. But there's no proof to that. They don't know. They could have really just said he was beaten to death in his hotel room and left it at that. But the fact that he looked like he was beaten to death and the autopsy shows that he was shot to death, that's the interesting question of it.
If I remember correctly about this, which I did not look at this story, but I'm like this. But I've been dealing with music most of my life, so I love hearing about these stories. So if I remember correctly, Sam Cooke was also a noted Lothario, a noted poon hound, as they like to call it in the day. It would not surprise, and for the time of day, considering the fact that he was beaten to death in that respect, it wouldn't surprise me that he may have had a white girl in that in that hotel room, and so he was beaten to death because of her. But autopsy shows gunshots, like a robbery gone wrong, because nobody wants to have a white boy go to prison for beating up a black guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's just kind of what I assumed happened. And, the coroner didn't care, didn't listen to what they said. So they were like, whatever, I'll just write whatever. Probably didn't even do an autopsy, didn't give a shit.
No, it's for the time period. It's a very clear sort of thing. It's in fact, it's like you had somebody like Etta James who just recently died in like the last year or two.
Yeah.
But
it's that was like one of the weird things. I was like, oh, Etta James, like why was she in the hotel room?
They could have just been on tour together too. That made or she may have been the third.
True.
The third. I don't know.
It didn't really say if she was the one who reported it or not. They just said that she saw him before the report.
Before the cops showed up.
After he died, before the report.
Could be. I don't know. Could be a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed she was the one who called. If it's not like the police are going to be like, oh fuck, better call Etta. Come on over, Etta.
That'd be a really crazy kind of crime show. Etta James
on
stage, and off stage, just all dun 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 dun. I would watch the fuck out of that.
Yeah, I got another short one that was kind of interesting.
Okay.
Unless you want to go into somebody else, and I can throw in another short one.
Let's talk Elvis, because we talked about Elvis a minute ago.
Okay.
Because I figured
Elvis is an alien. Elvis is my favorite alien.
That can be straight. And we during the Kennedy assassination show, we talked about how Elvis is the one who shot Kennedy. So I still have to make that shirt.
Elvis shot Kennedy, and then an alien.
Yeah, I've got a picture. I did.
That's why he was able to get off that many shots in so little time.
That sounds like it could be too.
Mm-hmm.
But in fact, even since his death in 1977, there are people who still report seeing him, even today, up to today, when he'd be like 80 something, and apparently he looks the same. I don't know what. The earliest known.
I've seen there was that meme going around. There was that meme going around for a while of like a young Elvis and then an older homeless gentleman who looked like Elvis, and they said he sounded like Elvis. He raved about being Elvis, but everybody just dismissed him as being crazy. But he looked just like him. And it was like, I don't believe that, honestly, that Elvis is just like a homeless guy, and he got suicided. But then they're like, nobody's ever going to believe you that you're alive. And he's just ranting and raving. I'm Elvis. I was there. I'm me. And people are like, shut up, homeless man. Throw change at him.
You died on the shitter.
Yeah. You were old and fat.
Yeah, no, the earliest known sighting, like the very first, one of the first known sightings of Elvis was back in like I think when like around like 80 81 was like the first time something popped up. And then he was
Hmm.
supposedly seen through going through the Memphis International Airport, the one that's right outside Graceland, uh, where a man resembling Presley gave the name of John Burroughs, which was a name that Elvis did use occasionally for booking hotels. Um, my favorite Elvis sighting story is, of all things, that Elvis was rumored to have appeared in the background of the airport scene in 1990 film Home Alone.
Really? uh,
Supposedly, there was a man wearing a turtleneck and a sports jacket with kind of a beard, not a big beard, but a beard, could be seen over the left shoulder of Catherine O'Hara's character while she's arguing with an airline employee, um, all about it. And it's one of those things I go, I thought about pulling the clip for people to watch it, but that would require me watching Home Alone, and I had no desire to do that. So please watch Home Alone and watch that thing, and you see the
I
you'll
would.
know what I'm talking
I'd
about.
watch Home Alone. I'd be more likely to watch Home Alone too.
Oh yeah, so you can just dog on
Yeah.
Donald Trump for an hour,
I,
for the 2 seconds he's on.
yeah.
So
He just lied to
but
that kid.
yeah, he did. So the funny thing is, like there actually was a paranormal researcher who like went what and actually did the research to figure this out, because basically anybody kept saying, "Oh, why would you fake your death and show up in one of the most popular movies of all time?" And so people go, "Well,
He's tired of being dead.
yeah." Well, the fact is, like, he actually went out of his way to go try to track down that extra, that person, and and like including anything like talking to Chris Columbus, the director. He goes, Chris Columbus, the director, not the genocidal rapist that today's about. Chris Columbus, the good Chris Columbus we're talking about. Uh, Basically said if Elvis was on set, I totally would have
And he
known.
couldn't even discover America right.
Nope, he can just discover really like heartwarming, shitty movies. That's it. So this dude went to go track down this actual extra, and he found out that the man was known to be Gary Richard Grott, who had died actually a few years ago from today. But he did find his son, and his son goes, "Yep, that was totally my dad. He talks about it all the time." And apparently, his dad was an extra. Oh, like his dad knew Chris Columbus was an extra in a lot of his films. So I don't know. Maybe Columbus is covering, but that's actually my favorite like Elvis is alive stories. I mean, you hear about stuff all the time, and like pop culture is littered with like Elvis is alive, but he's a vampire. Bubba Hotep. It's a great B movie from Don Cascarelli
I
with.
love Bubba Hotep.
It is amazing. So yes, like, dude, yeah. With you have Bruce Campbell playing Elvis, and if you get the DVD and do the commentary features, he will do he does the entire commentary as Elvis.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It's amazing. I just love like it's just a great
I,
movie, and they
hmm.
made a sequel, but Bruce wasn't involved with that one, so I don't know. I love Bruce Campbell, but
Yeah, I saw that he wasn't in it, and I didn't even bother watching it.
that's basically what I came down to. I go like Don Cascarelli, the guy who directed it, isn't doing. He's like a great classic horror film, like modern classics horror guy. He wasn't even involved with it either. So I was going, I don't care.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, Elvis, that's like some
I
funny
mean,
shit right
like I
there.
remember like stuff like Elvis impersonators have been a thing since I can remember, and like it's I get it. I get why some people do it. I mean, they got the look, they're good at it. They love Elvis themselves. Make a little money on the side. Hell yeah, I'm about it. I just don't understand why there's a whole there's thousands of people who want to be one who weren't even alive when Elvis was alive. What compels you? Like, you know what I want to be when I grow up? Elvis impersonator. I actually I booked him for fixation one time. I lived in these apartments a couple years back, and the neighbor across the sidewalk from me that just moved in, he and I got to talking one day, and he told me, he's like, I was like, I'm a clown. And he's like, I'm a Michael Jackson impersonator. And I went, ha
Oh,
ha ha.
I
And he's
saw
like,
that.
no,
Yeah,
really.
I saw that show with his 15
Dude, like he was
costume
wearing a tank
changes.
top. Yeah, God. And I remember I wasn't there for it. I should have. Okay. Anyway, like I saw him in a tank top one day, and we were just kind of talking outside. And dude, he has like all of his tattoos are Michael Jackson tattoos. He's got like MJ, and then a Michael Jackson silhouette, and then like song lyrics, and then like Dirty Diana on his arm, and like, dude, it was fucking weird. I'm still friends with him on Facebook, and he's still doing it. He's still a Michael Jackson impersonator, and
He can
his
get paid
wife
for
and
it.
daughter left him for some reason.
They left him for a man named Tito.
And he started doing the makeup so he can look like later Michael Jackson, and it's just kind of creepy because he's like all white, and yeah.
Yeah. Actually, a fun fact concerning Elvis impersonators: Elvis impersonation didn't get big until like the early '80s. So there's like the period like 6 or 7 years where like it really wasn't done yet. For some reason, I think it just started weird. But the first person ever to do Elvis impersonation like live on TV, like you know who that was?
Mm-hmm.
Andy Kaufman did it on Saturday Night Live
That
before
does
anybody
not
else was doing
surprise me. It makes me think of what's his alter ego?
Tony Clifton.
Tony Clifton, yeah. Tony Clifton always reminded me of Elvis, so that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, and like in like '78 or '79, like a year or two after Elvis died, yeah, Andy Kaufman did like. I mean, it was. I've actually seen the video of it, and like it's one of those things. Like I just thought of it now, so I go, I didn't even think that I could have pulled that video. But oh well, you guys can
I mean, I
YouTube it.
remember
You
it
can
from the
watch it.
movie.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
well
in the
see,
movie,
yeah,
Man on the Moon.
yeah, he did. They did it on Man on the Moon. That's right. But
Mm-hmm,
yeah, I
yeah.
didn't. I mean, I was like,
Well, I
I was
didn't
like
realize
five.
that
I was
was
like five
the
at the time, so I
first
didn't understand all
time,
that stuff.
though. That's crazy.
But yeah, he was like one of the first people to do it
Yeah.
live on
I
television.
mean, I remember seeing on like Inside Edition or some other like old fucking TV show where they were talking about like Elvis impersonators and how there's a big trend of them, and how like they were interviewing one, and they were like, he was like, yes, women actually love when I do this, and I go home with a lot of numbers. And then they show this woman like basically grinding all over this Elvis impersonator who's trying to sing on stage. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? I was like 5 or 6 when I saw this, but it's like burned into my memory for whatever reason. It's one of those like little things that's just like there.
So, like for the longest time, it's also been STEM. I think Honeymoon in Vegas is really what exemplifies the fact is that Elvis is like the mascot of like Vegas, supposedly. Here's the thing: I went to Vegas back in January of, I believe, this year. I don't know. It's been like a long fucking year so far. And then I think I only saw one Elvis impersonator the entire like 4 days I was there. And I was we went everywhere, so it wasn't like I was just hiding out in one spot. No, I was like all over the place, and I think we saw one, maybe two on
I saw
passing.
one in L.A. I saw one in L.A.
I think there was an Elvis
just on
running around with
Hollywood
the eight.
Boulevard, where all the other
Yeah, where
all
the other
people dress
characters
up and
are.
everything. Yeah, so there was one Elvis, but we said fuck him and got a picture with Elmo and Batman.
Well, of course, of course.
Yeah.
I think,
and weirdly enough, the Batman was he was actually from Houston and the same neighborhood that we lived in.
Of course. Because that's how it works. You go someplace like that, and you'll meet the people that live down the street from you. It never fails. That happens to me all the time. I remember seeing.
We're talking to him. He's like, "Where are you guys from?" We're like, "Houston." He was like, "Oh yeah, I grew up in Houston, a little place called Spring Branch." And we were like, "What?"
It was your babysitter.
I know, right? He's like, "I know them. He's stalking us. Actually, that's why he's dressed like Batman on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Just family for no reason."
I think if I remember correctly, the Elvis one of the Elvis if the one and I'm pretty sure it was an Elvis impersonator because I was when I was we were in Vegas. It was the weekend of the AVN Awards. Uh, Coincidentally, I didn't get in tickets to go see the AVNs, but I did run into a lot of the talent as they were trying to get in some of the trendy clubs that I had no interest in going into. Um, but I'm pretty sure an Elvis was running around
Makes
with some
sense.
of them. Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. So, how did Elvis actually die? What was his technical cause of death?
If I remember correctly, I'm gonna use my googling machines. I know. Well, I mean, the infamous things he did die on the toilet, but the reason he died, uh, the official
I want
cause
to say
of
heart
death,
attack, but
it was something along that line. There we go. How did Elvis die? Yeah, it was because it was a heart attack. Most likely because he was like he
fried
was on a
peanut butter
lot
and
of
jelly or
drugs.
peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Oh, a flat fried peanut butter and banana sandwich is so good. Uh, no, he most likely it's because I mean he died, he was 42, and most likely it's because he was rocking a lot of drugs, man. He was popping pills like crazy. Um, Things like prescription barbiturates. This is before opiates were a thing. It's old school,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just I
Yeah.
mean it's for a man who like had no alone time, he had to do something to keep himself going and taking the uppers to go up and the downers to go down. And you can only
Yeah.
do that trip so many times before things go bad, like they
Yeah.
did.
Oh, that's rough. That's
I
really
mean,
rough.
that's a very sadly enough, that's a very common rock and roll story. Is like fame gets weird, and so you have to take things to make you have to
Hmm.
level yourself out, and it just
Yeah. But like the
gets
thing about Elvis,
crazy.
like, he's not dead. He's either, just lounging on a beach in Hawaii or he is or there's been some like theories about that. Like, well, I always wondered why aliens was a thing.
Okay,
Yeah? Any idea?
why with
Like, no,
aliens
why
is a
why
thing?
would everybody say like Elvis? Like, why did it become a thing for alien? Elvis didn't die; he became an alien. Here, he just went home. He was
I think
an
I think
alien.
well,
Know why that?
why that became a thing, why the whole alien mythology came into be with Elvis. I think part of that had to do with because at the time
Yeah,
when Elvis
yeah.
died, 1977, one of the biggest movies of all time at the time that came out was a little film called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And so that's all in the public
Yeah.
consciousness, especially when you see them going back into space. So maybe that's where that thing kind of popped into the public consciousness for that sort of stuff. They go, well, man, Richard Dreyfuss went with the aliens going to outer space. Spoiler alert for a movie that's over 40 years old. Um, that maybe that's why that popped in was
Oh my
something like
goodness, you just
that.
ruined it for me.
Now, fuck you. If you haven't seen that movie by now, that's on you. That's on you. You should see that movie. It's really good. It's a really good movie. And I spoil nothing by saying that either. That's what's crazy because that's not a plot twist or anything. That's a thing that happens. Drive down the road. Oh yeah, no. It's a real. If you haven't seen the movie Close Encounters Third Kind, which has nothing to do with Elvis, watch it. Watch Elvis and Nixon, which is a really good film, which I really like a lot. Which has like Michael.
Never heard that.
Michael. Damn it, what's his name? It came out. It's not that old of a movie either. And it's about the meeting of Elvis and Nixon, which is really cool. Michael Shannon. That's what I was thinking of. He's a really great actor, and he had Kevin Spacey playing Nixon. So this is the time when they met. That's the time. Like
Hmm.
this is like based around the time when like so Michael Shannon playing Elvis. He plays a great Elvis, and Nixon. That's when they meet, and that's where supposedly like Elvis got his police badge and became a quote unquote member of the government. Stuff like that. That's a really it's a lot of fun. It's a fun story. I recommend Elvis and Nixon. It's a lot of fun. And I love it. Michael Shannon's just an amazing actor. I love him.
I'll give that a try.
So yeah, what else you got?
You got anything else about Elvis?
As far as like his
What else I got? Just go in order.
oh yeah, I agree. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what Elvis said before he died.
He did. He probably did. That's fair. So what else? What else have you got for stuff? You said you had another fun small one.
What else do I got? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the Temptations, Paul Williams. Ooh.
Paul Williams.
He was found dead in an alley after an argument with his girlfriend. People close to him also said that he had contacted them and talked to them about being suicidal.
Yeah.
The coroner said, though, he had a gun in his right hand and the bullet hole was fired into his left temple. But there was also 2 bullets. Yeah, he did this. It was also 2 bullets fired, but they only know about where one of them ended up.
And
Yeah.
Interesting.
But right hand. Yeah.
That's
I don't know
that's
why
really
you
weird.
go across, or maybe it was. Maybe he wanted to fall funny, so he did it like this.
Could be. Maybe he's trying to recreate like some weird MC Escher thing, going all surrealist because Dolly or something. I don't know. That's really weird.
Yeah. So like where'd the second bullet go? They don't even know if it was actually fired that evening, or if he just like he had fired it at somebody else at some point. Why did it? Why did he do it like this? Was his girlfriend involved? Was he actually suicidal? Who knows?
Well, Temptations are still going, so believe it or not.
Yeah, I think I want to say like the Temptations just kind of like switch out fucking members constantly.
I think there's like I think they have a couple. I think they have one or I think they're down to like 1 or 2 core member people left, but they're like in their 70s. So I think even then they're still trying to keep stuff like age appropriate. So it's not like they're not like trying to like be like Menudo or something where they're just hiring the next 13-year-old to take the place of the 17-year-old. The thing. I don't know. It's one of those weird kind of stories that I've heard. I know I've heard about the story about this, and it's another one of those comments which we'll bring up another one in a bit about was it suicide, sort of thing, or was it not? It's hard to say. It's also the time it makes it really difficult on what it could be because there's so many outlying features of what it's like when we were talking earlier about what's his name that we're going, yeah, that's an easy setup on why that is, but the official story says this, and this one's it's a trickier because there's no outlying feature to where it could tempt something else. It's odd that is the ruling due to that based on how it is. So was there some more stuff involved? I don't know. I mean, it could be. I mean, I think he was trying to muscle in more money or trying to get out of the Temptations, and then maybe they weren't done. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, could have been somebody, they shot him in the head with the gun, wearing a glove, pulled the gun, taken the gun and put it in his hand, but put it in the wrong hand. Because they found the gun. The gun was like a little ways down the alley. It wasn't like he was holding the gun.
Oh, okay.
That was another thing. But he wasn't holding the gun. The gun was like down the alley somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So what I was kind of thinking is, somebody, came up, popped him while they were wearing a glove, took the gun, put it in his hand, and maybe fired another shot so it looked like there was residual on his hands.
Could be. That, yeah. That's where's Etta James when we need her? Tell you that, Etta James Crime Solver is an amazing
James would have
idea.
figured this out.
She would have figured this out. Dun dun. At last.
It's like, oh man, that'd be so great. I would love to see like Murder She Wrote, but with Etta James.
Just
That would be
singing.
so
It
good.
always ends with like, and it always goes
Mhm.
at last. It's at last I found the killer. That's every time. Everybody's watching
Yeah,
this. You
instead
heard
of
it here
typing on a
first.
typewriter, she's like just singing along to a piano.
So scatting along, trying to figure shit out. There you go. Just it sounds. Oh, that's writing itself. That's really great.
Be Etta She Wrote.
Edda she wrote. Edda she sang. Songbird or something. Just I don't know. It's just that's gold.
Oh
All
man.
right. All right. So now I'm gonna shift
Do
gears a
we got
little bit.
something big or?
I figure we'd just talk 27 Club, and then we'll hit some of the high notes there if you want, or if you got something else that's
I've
outside of
got
that.
I've got one that's I've got another one that's not 27 Club.
All right, let's talk about that. I want to end it, but the thing is, like, there are like 3 or 4 names I want to go big into 27 Club. But I'm going to name a
Okay.
bunch of names right off just so that people know what's there. But let's get figure out of the way. And I want to end with like talking about stuff from the 27 Club.
Okay. Well, I can make these next couple of them really short and sweet.
Yeah.
Because, 27 Club will probably take up about 15, 20 minutes. So, Gary Driscoll of Rainbow. Do you remember Rainbow?
I do. Dio was
He was
in
found
Rainbow.
dead in his home. Yeah. Yeah. He was found dead in his home with no motive. Like, nobody knows. He was just a regular dude. What they think happened, the conspiracy is, like, since there was no motive, it was multiple murderers on drugs. Because, he did like to do drugs. So they think, some of his drug friends were over and were tripping on acid or doing something crazy and something went wrong. Because the rumor is he was either dismembered or flayed when they found him.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
By nobody.
Yeah. I mean, I've never done that much acid where I feel like dismembering and flaying somebody.
No, it's not been my experience as well. Not that I've had such experiences
Yeah.
whatsoever.
And I don't want to get into it all completely, but we can go through these really quick. Two of like not necessarily rockers, but live that lifestyle. Tupac and Biggie.
Oh no, Tupac and Biggie.
Tupac and Biggie, like both of them.
This, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they told like what they think for both of them is gang disputes. Because they were different gangs and they just killed each other. But I mean, Tupac. What Greg Kading, he was from the whatever the LAPD. He claims proof that Pete Diddy and Suge Knight did it, but everybody's like, "Oh, there's no proof to that. You can't prove that Puff Daddy and Suge Knight had Tupac killed." So, what happens? Biggie dies, and then they're like, "Oh, gang violence." Well, again, what gang violence? But what it pretty much seems like is a very corrupt LAPD. And then the LAPD was like, no, it wasn't us. And they were like, Suge Knight did it. And Suge Knight's like, no, it wasn't me. While here's my theory. Puff Daddy's just off to the side, like, oh, he's dead while he's wiping his tears with hundreds of thousands of dollars. And like right after Biggie died, Puffy just all of a sudden, does that every step you, or what is it? Oh, his forgot the name of the song.
I miss you. Yeah. Well, like Notorious B.I.G.'s like Life After Death comes out right after he dies. It was a double album that went like huge. like quadruple platinum within like 3 weeks.
Yeah, all of a sudden Puff Daddy's famous, and Puff Daddy's famous and is still famous.
It's true.
Still, he and Suge Knight are close now, or were close after that, or seen close. Either way. Fun fact: Suge Knight did actually hang Vanilla Ice out of a window by his ankles. That's true.
That's he and that Vanilla Ice isn't the only one he did that to either. That was a very common negotiating tactic of Suge Knight's, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
As far as getting into weird conspiracy stuff, even beyond that, is back in I want to say the late '90s. There were rumors that Tupac was live and well and living somewhere in the Caribbean. Like, people kept seeing him everywhere. Now, I would like to contribute the fact is that with weird casual racism where black people think black people all look alike for some of that, but that was a very weird common thing that happened a couple of times was that Tupac was seen alive several times, and then there was I wish I could remember the name of the there's another rapper that came out in the early 2000s that looked like fucking Tupac that popped on the scene. I mean, he didn't. I mean, you could tell it wasn't, but it's one of the he had a skinnier face. But it looked like fucking it was close enough for people like at a glance to go, oh wait, that's not Tupac. Weirdly enough, is like the whole conspiracy. I would love to deep dive even bigger into the whole Tupac Biggie conspiracy shit because that gets really deep.
I've heard a really great podcast about it. I'll send it to you. I'll send you a link to it because it's on YouTube for sure.
Yeah,
it's last podcast on the left. They did a deep dive on the Biggie Tupac whole thing. It was awesome.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, it gets deep. There's not like everywhere from like how their beef set up.
I think they did like two. Yeah, like I mean, talking about like Tupac's like theater arts teacher and shit, and like dude, like they did a really good deep dive on the whole thing, and it was I think it's like 2 episodes long.
That's easy. I mean, it's crazy.
So it's like 2.5 hours long.
That sounds about right. I think I think we're gonna table Tupac and Biggie. I think I want to talk about them, at some point in the future. One of our future episodes. I think that's worthy of. I think Tupac and Biggie is worthy of an episode to talk about.
I mean, shit. That's one of my common questions on my Saturday show.
Yeah.
People still talk about it, Tupac or Biggie.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that question.
Dude, man, only one of them was in Digital Underground. I'm just saying.
That cigarette, man. Speaking of cigarettes, I have to pee really quick. I didn't get a chance to run to the restroom. So after that, I'm gonna pee, and then we're gonna talk 27.
Yeah, let's do that, and I'll get plugs out of the way while you're in. My plugs out of the way. All right, everybody watching the show, thank you guys for tuning in, either now or later. We do totally appreciate it. If you get a chance to tune in live, please do so. We do this every Monday at 7:30 Central Standard Time, right here on Cabin Fever live stream. It's free to sign up for Twitch to be part of the chat. So if you want to join the chat and talk to us about stuff, we would love to chat with you. It'd be amazing. If you can't, we understand that too. Here's some plugs going on, at least for myself, on Wednesday with the Devil's Hour, which I do every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time right here in Cabin Fever. I've got some amazing acts. I've got the great drag artist by the name of Eva Destruction. I have the great and wonderful music of Tomar and the FCs. I have an amazing dancer artist by the name of Amaya, and also the great music of the band known as Nightclub. Plus other weird shit that I always do every Wednesday, cool like videos and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sorry, so there was just so much pee in me, I couldn't hold it.
No problem. I'm just doing my plugs now to get it out of the way. Or at least I just did the Devil's Hour Saturday for the G Spots. I'll be doing Dementia 13. It's a great movie by young Francis Ford Coppola. And then we'll talk about what we're gonna do next week way
Yeah,
later.
dude, I haven't seen that one in forever.
That's a good movie. I really like it a lot. So I figured it'd be a fun one to show.
Mhm.
But so let's talk 27 Club. Let's get that. Let's rock that because there's first off, there's like over 70 people of like artists, like ranging from musicians, art, like
Yeah.
actual artists, actors,
Here,
writers, everything
but
like
here's the
that.
thing. They had some stuff a little messed up in there because it was mostly in order, but their start to finish, it's 74 people, and it says it stopped around 1990.
Well, the last one I know of that passed, so I think I've got a different list.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
because I'm
because
gonna go
mine said
through.
1990. What does yours say? Because I wrote that
Uh,
down, and I was like, wait, what?
I think that the last person who's part of the 27 Club was born in 1990.
That's possible.
There's a rap star who goes by the name of Fredo Santana, died back in January 2018.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Then they had it backwards on that one because the last one was 1990. Death was 1990.
No, no. As far as common names, there may be some older ones, but as far as people went back to actually look at this sort of stuff, uh, probably one of the first
Yeah,
people known to have died of it is a man by the name of Alexandre Leve, who was a
yeah. I wrote that
composer.
one down too.
Yeah, he's like one of the first widely known people who
Yeah,
like to
like the
compose
first
stuff.
one that like people like get like you found like.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was younger, but
yeah, but it's like and then you got people like I'm gonna do a cherry pick of some other names, and I'm gonna come back to
I
a
cherry
couple
picked
of
a
them.
couple of them too.
So I got things like Robert Johnson, infamous blues
Mm-hmm.
guitarist, only had one recording ever known to do stuff. I'm gonna come back to him in a minute, but I want to do the cherry picking real quick. Some other fun people: Brian Jones,
Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones.
one of the original founders of the Rolling Stones, who died in a swimming pool due to misadventure, which means he was drunk and fell in a pool,
Mm-hmm.
most likely.
Yep.
Alan Wilson, who was the lead singer for Canned Heat, also
Wait,
died.
wait, wait. Alan Blind Owl Wilson.
That's fair, yeah, but it's like it's like Canned Heat, on the road again. Oh, yo, on the road again. They actually
Mm-hmm.
their music was pretty cool, and like supposedly died of drug overdose, possible suicide. It's hard to say. Jimi Hendrix, one of the probably one of the infamous of the 27 Club, dying basically of being a rock star. Drugs, heroin, most likely. Janis Joplin, Texas native from the Beaumont area, also.
Yep.
Jim Morrison.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh,
Ron McKiernan from the Grateful Dead.
yeah, one of the originals of the Grateful Dead, which is, most of them are dead
Ron
now, weirdly
Pigpen
enough.
McKiernan.
Yeah. Some Pete
Yep.
Ham.
I also wrote down Jacob Miller from Inner Circle.
Yeah,
Chris Austin was Reba McEntire's fiddle player.
yeah. Some other fun names I like to talk
Yeah.
about. Not a rock star, but he definitely put in the lifestyle because he was part of the Warhol scene. Jean-Michel Basquiat, uh, really cool artist, but yeah, he also had some music. He did some music as well. He was 27. Mia Zapata,
Mm-hmm.
which actually, when Mia, I was working in a music store when Mia Zapata died because people don't know she was the lead singer of the Gigs, and she was like brutally murdered, like taken back to an alley, like raped and
Mm-hmm.
murdered, back in like when was that? That was 893, and they like there were like a ton of like albums and benefits all about that to try not only trying to put her killers to justice, but to like put awareness to that sort of stuff too. Um, Kurt
Mm-hmm.
Cobain was the one after that. Kristen Pfaff, who was a bassist for Hole. There's a connection there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Fat Pat from Houston.
Pat, SUC,
Yeah,
screwed up quick. Yes.
yeah. That's a big one. Who else do I have? People of bigger note that at least people would care about. I don't know if everybody cares about to an extent, but it's one of those. bigger names.
Like there was some people that like I did. I didn't really. There was somebody from the Whalers. I looked through the whole list. Like I just picked out the ones that like were the most well known. Were
Anton
the
Yelchin.
ones that just caught my eye because Chris Austin. I guarantee, like I saw Reba when I was a kid, so I probably saw Chris Austin play before.
Probably. Anton Yelchin, who was actually an actor, but he did music as well. He was for the Star Wars reboots. He was Chekhov. His death was a weird death too. Like he put his car in.
Yeah, I saw that one too. There was also one recent one.
Car. It's like a weird. He got ran over by his own car.
What was the? Yeah. There was a drag queen that was on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Davenport. Yeah, because like she was on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember when she died. Amy Winehouse. That was the other big name. Probably the other big of the
Amy Winehouse. Oh yeah. I mean, I never got into Amy Winehouse. Like that was never my jam. Amy Winehouse had a great voice, though. I will give her that.
Yeah.
But I was never just my style.
She was. It's one that's weird. It's like she was kind of big at the time, and I think had she not just like fucking just drank her, shot up her life away, she was like 1 or 2 records away from being like massive. If she didn't, she was like that. She was at that bubbling point where she's just about to go into that next level, and I think had she not killed herself, and she probably would have made it. She would have. There might not have been a Gaga had Amy Winehouse lived. Not that I'm saying there's anything to do with it.
Yeah.
It's just that Gaga kind of took over that.
So you're saying Amy Winehouse didn't kill herself, and she's actually Lady Gaga now?
Ooh, that could be.
Okay.
I mean, Stephanie Germania or whatever. Yeah, we're called gaffing the truth. If people don't know what gaffing means, look it up. That means we're faking the truth. So, just that's how it works. Now, some of the people I want to talk about. So I want to talk about Robert Johnson. I want to talk about him first. Because what's really interesting about Robert Johnson is like there's the folklore around this blues guitarist, man. And like most guitarists, any serious guitarist, they always list him as one of their influences, especially anybody who has a slight blues bend. He made one record that survived, anyways. Legend has it that he went to the crossroads there in Georgia or Alabama or wherever, and made a deal with the devil to be the greatest guitar player ever. And he created this really cool like blues record, and then played music for a while, and then disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him. Popular theory. I mean, the consensus of the fact is that he was a musician, so he liked.
Weren't we talking about that song on the Internet Conspiracies?
Oh yeah. It was like
we were talking about that song on the Internet Conspiracies episode.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what he did.
Maybe it was him. Maybe he wrote the song
from the 80s. Yeah. So that's what I always just found it fascinating. Like the Robert Johnson mythology is famous. Like it's actually withstood. Like whole Crossroads Demon thing is extended well beyond that. I mean, you got things like Tenacious D does the song Tribute, and it's that story. And stuff
it's
like
not
that.
It's not even the actual song.
Yeah, no, it's like that and the Monster Mash. Those
Same thing with the Monster Mash.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah, Monster Mash.
So
somebody posted that on Facebook, and I was like, "You're right." Oh my god.
It plays in the story every once in a while, and this guy goes, "Yeah, it's a song about a song, and not about the." They go, "Well, kind of about the dance." I go, "No, he does the dance to the song that he's listening to, not or singing, not that. Just it's coincidental." So I just thought Robert Johnson.
Maybe it's the song that they play on the B side of the record, because the B side of the record was just kind of like, it sounded like a monster party. You'd hear like kind of like sing song in the background, and then like chatter, and then like rawr, like a werewolf, and then brrr, like a vampire.
Funny or Die did a really funny sketch where they said the guy who wrote the song actually had a much lewder song they were going to sing, but he wanted to sing, but Standards of practices wouldn't let him, so they had Boris take over. So the original writer of the song said it was the monster fuck. Let's do the monster fuck, and all it is about orgies with monsters. It's really funny if you get a chance. Funny or Die. It's a really good Funny or Die sketch. Let's. What time is it? A lot of people are pretty straightforward as far as just weird. I mean, like the trifecta in the '60s, which was Hendrix, Joplin, and Morrison, which is just a weird kind of setup for that sort of stuff. But it's one of those hearing the stories about that lifestyle.
The only one that's like really interesting and weird, Morris.
Well, yeah, it's like his was the weird of the three. His was the one because supposedly he just died in his. It's like they go died on the toilet, he died in his bathtub. So most like chances are because the amount of drugs he did was
like he died. No, like where's the autopsy report? Like what autopsy?
He's in France.
And he's buried in what, France? I think
he is. He was in France at the time. So
yeah.
No, yeah, heart failure, but he was. I mean, it's one of those things. I go, maybe he didn't die from the drug specifically, but the drugs fucked up his body enough that it just did not go well. Now the other, which is one of those things that most likely, the weirdest one of the 27 Club, because we got a couple of minutes, is fucking Kurt Cobain. I mean, we can deep dive into this one too, but we'll do the quick broad strokes. Is Kurt Cobain, age 27, put a shotgun to his mouth, and died. It's understanding. However, there are some weird inconsistencies with this story about that. One, he had enough heroin in his body that would like knock out a 500-pound bear. So how did he lift the shotgun?
To be fair, here a rebuttal to that is he's had about a $5,000 a week heroin habit.
True for
so they say the amount that was in his system when they found he died was nothing compared to what he normally imbibed.
Yeah, and supposedly he had some weird unknown stomach malady for most of his life, which is why he took the pain. Why he actually did heroin was to dull the pain that he was constantly feeling in his stomach, which doctors went, we don't know what you're talking about because they could find nothing. But the other thing is especially considering that another person from a band died shortly thereafter was he was also with a very destructive and toxic woman at the time as well, by the name of Courtney Love. Did we have a reverse Sid and Nancy here? Because that's what they got painted as being. So, where maybe it wasn't so much that.
I mean, they were just the
Kurt
grunge rockers.
Himself.
They didn't, they didn't say they didn't do drugs. So.
Oh no! I watched. They had that. I thought there were a couple last year before. They had a couple of. There were a couple of documentaries about. I think Montage of Heck is the one I like better than Soaked in Bleach, because Soaked in Bleach gets really kind of conspiracy by Montage of Heck is really just kind of they're going out here these weird kind of telling the story of Nirvana, but they showed home movies. And so there's a couple of movies where you're seeing Kurt and Courtney tweaked out of their minds with the little baby, but they're fucking tweaking. You could all but see scabs. I mean, it's one of those crazy sort of things. I'm watching this, I'm going, yeah, I wouldn't have. It's because you taking the heroin, you got to get that pick back up. So let's do some meth. And so yeah, it wouldn't surprise. It's one of those things that the common theory is the fact is that it was actually Courtney who may have done it through one of these weird drug episodes. And then her bassist dies a year later, also supposedly of an overdose. Supposedly. I know. What do you think?
I think it was either, I don't know, dude. Like, honestly, it was either himself or Courtney. Eh,
It's. I mean, I don't
more than
think like
likely
there,
Courtney, because she would get his estate. But
which she didn't.
yeah, I mean, it was either him or Courtney. Um, yeah, more than likely Courtney wanted his money. Got his money.
I also think like it probably was a drug. It wasn't probably it was one of those things. I go, well, like a weird drug thing, but like it wasn't like a conscious thing, like planning. It's just like, oh, that's it. Whoop! I didn't mean to do that, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
mean,
what it was.
like, he was the whiniest of people. Like, from things I've heard, things I've read, things I've listened to, he was just the whiniest person. He was upset at the fact that he was famous and had all kinds of money, and that's all he really spent his money on was heroin. And then he complained that, like, why do people like my music? It's not even that good. And it's just like whiny, bitchy, but having everything handed to him.
I mean, there's some. I mean, don't get
So
there's
it
some
wouldn't
mental
surprise me if
stuff
he
in
did shoot
that.
himself.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's one of those. It's one of those. There's some mental stuff. It's just one of those things. I go,
yeah, no, there's definitely
a
mental stuff.
shotgun, a shotgun. It's like it's a really weird way to go. Or the fact is, maybe he tried to kill himself with drugs and found out that he can't. He just thought he killed himself and then
Yeah, well,
woke
I
up the
mean,
next
shit,
day.
like, he's not the only fucking person who's killed himself. And this, but anyway,
You're roboting a little bit.
who else? Oh, at least Dead left a note that sorry for the mess.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying Dead from Mayhem also, shoot on a shotgun, and he was nice enough to leave a note that said sorry about the mess.
It's one of those. I'm not saying it's not. It's just like one of those
Dead's
things. That,
death was super amazing. He just shot himself. Oh God, it was brutal. Anyway, yeah, he wanted to die.
no, it's one of those things. I go. It's like I don't know. It's one of those things. I go. It wouldn't surprise me. It's also seemed like wow. What for a man who like supposedly who wrote some really great lyrics and stuff like that went out in such a non-poetic way. So, but I don't know. It's one of the things I honestly don't know. I mean, if it wouldn't surprise me either way either. But it's still one of those weird kind of conspiracies that still exists today because the fact is like
Oh yeah, no, people still talk about it.
well, the fact is you talk about how like Courtney got all the money. No, everything got signed over to Francis. Francis got
Oh, that's
everything.
right. Yeah, it was Francis.
The daughter, who like really doesn't want anything to doesn't really have any interest in doing anything with her mom. She wants to.
Yeah.
She's happy to. She wants to make sure her dad's legacy lives on, and regularly talks to like Chris and Dave, but like she doesn't really talk much to her mom. It doesn't help that her mom doesn't really. I mean, I think she's cleaned it up out currently, but it's like she's been a wreck for the past 20 years now. Shit, fuck, it's been 20 years. But yeah, so this is all about Rocker Desk we were talking about today. So it's just weird and interesting stuff. I find it fascinating. This is like the stuff I find fascinating. I find the other stuff fascinating too, but it's like this is the shit I'll deep dive into. While Scabs loves deep diving into the other stuff. But next week,
speaking of that, I try to bring it up. I try to bring it up in every episode. And there are no like hip hop or rock star cryptids.
I know. Well, Elvis kind of is,
Well, there's the Biggie one. It's just a stupid T-shirt.
Yeah. Well, Elvis is part of the cryptid now, so I mean.
Yeah, he's an alien. We got that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Michael Jackson kind of is. I mean,
Michael Jackson might be an alien too.
That's true. I mean, I would say we talk about Michael Jackson about stuff, but most of his stuff is just sad. We're not here to talk about the sad shit. There's nothing funny and pleasant about any of the weird shit with him. I mean, outside of like talking about the Pepsi commercial, that's the only thing we can kind of keep lighthearted.
What, his hair catching on fire?
Yeah. Because all the other stuff tied to him is like really sad and dark, and we're not here for. I don't want to talk about kids and his abusive family. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
no, I want to keep it lighthearted. I want to have fun.
Yeah, so I said we're
Oh,
talking about.
another thing I saw. I was looking up again. I forgot which rapper said it, but another rapper was mentioned like the Mothman in one of his raps or something.
That's cool. He must be from the area, or he just watched that dumb
Yeah,
movie.
probably more than likely. I forgot who it was. I can't really find it now, but it's not that big a deal.
I
Oh
want to say.
man,
I want to say.
yeah.
I want to say some. I know somebody's talked about Bigfoot in rap. I mean,
Well, God, what is it? Monster Rap. I think Dr. Dre produced it. I don't think he rapped on it, but Monster Rap. It was like Frankenstein and fucking like no, it was like Dracula rapping and shit. It was fucking
oh,
yeah.
well, I
This is
mean,
like back in like late '80s, early '90s when he was first like getting off into it. And Dr. Dre used to wear like a sequin suit, like body suit with like a stethoscope, and that's why he was Dr.
oh,
Dre.
back
But
then, yeah, back before,
yeah,
back
way
before he
back in the
did,
day when they first started, when comedy
back,
rap was the way to go.
yeah,
Comedy rap was the only thing out around then, and then it turned
all
into
that
gangster
Fresh
rap,
Prince
and then
stuff,
it blew up.
yeah, all that Fresh Prince stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, now we
Yep.
got Gravediggers. They're horror rap.
Oh, I love Gravediggers. Yeah, it's derived from like Wu-Tang and shit. It's got RZA
Dude,
and
fucking
Jizza, and
RZA, man. I love me some RZA. Been
yeah,
too Woo, man.
hell yeah.
Uh,
I've seen RZA live. RZA did fuck one of his second album, one of his albums. Did it
was it
like
Bobby
front to back,
Digital?
and like I think it was, yeah. He jumped out into the
Oh,
fucking crowd and like just like fucking like crowd surfed and was rapping and
it's
shit. Yeah,
weird
he
and
was super
crazy
cool.
shit. That rap. That's a
And you know
weird,
what the
crazy
best part
record.
was?
What's that?
Guar opened for him.
Oh, that's so good. I would
I
have
saw
paid.
Guar, then I watched RZA.
That's
Also,
amazing.
Shock G was there. And if you don't know Shock G, Digital Underground. Yeah.
Oh, dude, fuck yes. You know me, I love me some
Mm-hmm.
Digital Underground. Gee, I got to go back and watch Nothing But Trouble for like the 18 millionth time.
Yeah,
Just because
Shock G
that way
was
I can see
fucking Humpty.
Tupac. Yeah, it's just so I can see Tupac.
Yeah. Yeah, got nothing but trouble.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, like little rocker and musician's death this week. It was a lot of fun. Thank you everybody for watching the show today or coming back and watching it later. We appreciate that as well. Next week, we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking Halloween shit.
Halloween.
Weird stories. Yeah, we're talking Halloween shit because it's time
Spooky.
for Halloween. Spooky. So we're gonna talk weird Halloween shit about I
Yeah.
don't know whatever stuff.
Oh,
Uh,
little pumpkins and everything.
it's gonna get weird because like it does.
I'm definitely a Halloween kind of guy. I love my Halloween shit, man. I
I
love
do
like
too.
old like the origins of Halloween. The people who freak out about Halloween are the ones whose religions created it. Like it's so weird. And there's like
Now it's
even
definitely
like stuff that like it's not like it doesn't happen on the 31st, but it's still the same thing as Halloween, just a different time of year. Yeah,
no.
I love
It's gonna
Halloween.
be
That's why I've
yeah. It's
been
gonna be.
working at haunted houses for 19 years now.
And I work at a costume shop, so it's one of those. Yeah, it's a big thing. Me and my late
Yeah,
wife were actually. Me and
and
my late
I'm
wife were.
probably going to rant.
You know, rant. That's fine. It's fair. You can.
I'm gonna
Me
rant,
and my.
yeah, because
Yeah,
Halloween decorations suck this year.
that's fair. Other than a 12-foot skeleton, there's really not a lot going on. Uh,
No, it's
uh,
Beetlejuice and the Sanderson sisters, and that's it.
Fucking Sanderson sisters. Everybody's asking me about that bullshit. That movie is not that good. It's
It's
fine.
okay. I mean, it was really weird, like talking about virgins and shit in a children's movie, but whatever.
But it's one of those weird movies that like it existed for like 10, like 15, 20 years, and suddenly like last year it got big, like for some goddamn reason. And it's kind of
Because everybody's showing all these 20, 25 to 30-year-olds are showing their kids this movie now. And they're like, oh, I remember this. Oh, there's stuff in here that I totally forgot about. Oh, this movie's so great.
it's fine. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so next week we're gonna be talking about the Halloween and all that fun stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Me and my late wife were actually married on Halloween.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about that. Anyway, thank you guys once again for tuning in. We appreciate so much that you come in and be on the part of the show. Do stuff next time. Come on, make sure you jump in the chat. We would love to hear your stories about this sort of stuff. Halloween. make part of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any weird stories you want to contribute, please drop us a line. We appreciate it. As you can see right below our pictures, we have both of our Instagram accounts, which you can message us to talk about weird shit like this. One last
Mm-hmm.
thing.
I'm a little more active on Facebook under my real name. You can message me there.
Well, you can do the
You'll
initial
have to figure
talk.
out my real name.
Yeah, well, Scott, I put the Instagram just because there's a lot more picture-y
Yeah.
sort of stuff because people like pictures for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, so you
Yeah,
can track
they
us
like
both
pictures,
down.
not opinions.
By the way,
I don't post opinions though. I posted how I bought awesome Halloween candy for kids today.
I know I saw the pictures.
I found candy canes. I found Valentines. I didn't buy any of that
kids are gonna
candy.
hate you.
I know.
You start hitting up Valentines for Christmas, for Halloween. Just here you go, just a little envelope.
Yeah, make it really fucking awkward. Yeah, make it really fucking awkward about like passing those out.
That'd be really funny.
Also, I thought about like just a bucket of candy canes.
Yeah, I'll mess with people's head. I mean, the year's already been fucked up as it is. That's about it. Starting here in Texas, starting tomorrow, we can do early voting. So make sure people who are in Texas, please make sure you early vote. You can start early voting tomorrow. It's starting at 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Vote. Do your part. You already know our opinions on this bullshit. What's going on? So I'm not going to get into it, but vote. It's going to be a lot of fun. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Be safe, be cool, be groovy. And as always, keep drinking.